The most fun part about DFS is the sweat, seeing the games play out in real time and seeing how you're performing on a given slate. But if you've played DFS before, you know that sometimes it's actually hard to know how well you're actually doing. If you've stacked up a bunch of players in the early game, it might look like you're off to a hot start. And if you've played everybody in the late game, it seems like you're not doing so well until those players actually get started. SaberSim's all-new live leaderboard is the best way to sweat DFS. We will run new contest sims in real time as the games are playing out and show you exactly how well your lineups are performing or how poorly they're performing on a given slate, making it the most fun sweat experience. The new live leaderboard went out to all SaberSim users for our update this week. My name's Jordan Chan. I'm the head coach here at SaberSim, and I'm going to break down the new live leaderboard as well as some of the other features that hit the SaberSim app this week. Let's go ahead and jump into it. Now, first things first, right off the bat, you'll see something new here at the top of my screen. You can see my entry fees, my current winnings, and my sim average winnings for the ongoing players tournament for PGA DFS this week. And you can see that so far I'm not off to a very hot start, but as you watch here in the upper left, you'll see my sim average winnings and my current winnings adjust in real time as new scores are coming in and as we're running new contest sims for the rest of the tournament. For PGA in particular, we've also got the cut line probabilities shown up here, which is from our simulations from this point in the tournament on. We'll have different data represented there for different sports, little things that we think could be fun, make sweating the slate out a little bit more interesting. But for golf, we've got the cut line probabilities up there. And again, this is reacting in real time as information is coming in. As different golfers out there make birdies or score different points, all kinds of different things, we're updating this here in real time. Now, the all-new live leaderboard can also be used to sweat specific contests out here. So if we hit the contest tab here in the SaberSim app, I can take a look at all of my contests or any of the contests on DraftKings here. And if I want to go in and sweat the Millie Maker here for a little while, I can click this, give SaberSim just a moment to load all of those entries here, and then expand this contest here on the right-hand side, and you'll see here that little flashing green. This is also updating in real time, letting me see what the leaderboard actually looks like, just like you would on DraftKings, the players with the highest actual score at this moment here, but also the highest average projection, the sim ROIs of different lineups, the expected profits, and for golf in particular, the percent chance that that lineup gets 6 out of 6 golfers through the cut here. So a lot of interesting data here, a really fun way to sweat this, rather than just looking at who's currently winning the Millie Maker, which, as you all know, isn't always very indicative of who's most likely to win. You can actually watch this here and see who's poised, who's most likely to take this tournament down. If there's particular players that you want to see how they're doing for a given tournament, you can follow all this along here. The live leaderboard is again available to all SaberSim subscribers on any plan, and is currently available for PGA, for MLB, for NBA, and for NFL when NFL gets started back up in the fall. We're hoping to bring this out to all of our sports in the future. The only thing you need to do to get started to see this data here is when you open up SaberSim, you'll need to upload an entries file here into the app. When you do that, SaberSim will ask to verify that the DraftKings username in that entries file is your username. Once you've confirmed that that is your username on DraftKings, we can associate your username in any of the contests with your SaberSim account, and you'll see this information pop up here at the top, and you can sweat out your sim average winnings, your current live winnings, all of this kind of stuff in real time. Now, that's not the only big feature that went live with this release. We also released our all-new Aggregate Metrics tool, which is a great way to see the characteristics of your entire lineup portfolio at the portfolio level. So let me show you exactly how this works. So this is my build I use to fill my entries into the players this week here. In the upper right, you'll now see a new calculator icon. So if we click the calculator icon, you get this option to create an aggregate metric here. So I'll show you an example of how this works. I think it's a bit easier to get with an example here. So if I wanted to, for example, look at the median projection here of all of my lineups. So across my entire 150 lineup set, what was the median projected average score here? I can go ahead and enter that in, save aggregate metrics, and I'll see that information here. This starts to get very useful when you start to make adjustments to your build. So if I start making an adjustment, maybe I want to diversify my build using min uniques, and I bump this up from 1 to 3 min uniques, you'll see the difference here in the median projection, how that has changed. So you can see I'm sacrificing about 2.5 points of median average projection here to go from 1 min unique to 3. If we pull this back up, you'll see there is a ton of room for creativity and flexibility with these new aggregate metrics. You can look at the mean average, the max, the min, the median, or the sum of a bunch of different data points here, whatever is useful for you in your process. You can use things like contest sim metrics if you are on the SaberSim Ultimate plan. You can use custom metrics that you've created if you're on the SaberSim Pro plan, but all users will have access to look at things like Saber Score, percentiles, projection, ownership, all kinds of things here. If I wanted to look at, for example, quickly identify what's the highest owned lineup in my pool here, what's the max ownership that I'm using across my pool, you can see the max ownership in this particular set of 150 at the moment is 99.02. If I was instead sorting by projected score, that is actually 98.37 is my maximum ownership here. Going back down to min uniques here, my max ownership jumps back up to 100.16. So again, a lot of different ways you can use the aggregate metric. What it's mostly useful for here is identifying characteristics of your entire portfolio as a whole here. The live leaderboard and the aggregate metrics were the main two features that went live in this release, but there was one other quality of life improvement that went live here, and that is SaberSim will now remember your column layouts here for future slates. So this is true within a given sport. So for PGA, for example, if I know I want to put my exposure right next to the ownership projections to just see those two side by side, and then I go on to play PGA DFS again next week, SaberSim will remember that layout, that orientation. It does not cross over between sports, so it will not, if I jump on to build my lineups for the NBA DFS slate tonight, those two columns will not be next to each other, but if I move them then for NBA, it will be remembered for the next NBA slate. So this is something that people have been asking for a long time. We were really excited to get this out in this release as well. And as always, these new features came along with a bunch of bug fixes and other UI fixes across the app. If you're interested in a full list of changes that went live in this release, our full release notes can be found in the announcements channel in our Discord server. And while the live leaderboard can be an awesome way to sweat out contests in real time, our contest flashback tool uses the exact same contest sims to help analyze a contest after it has finished. I use this tool every single day in my DFS process to analyze my results and analyze the results of the pros to figure out how I can continue to improve. If you're interested in learning more about how to use contest flashback to improve and analyze your DFS results, check out this video. And in the meantime, thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.